All right, boys, today we're gonna shift gears on this. I know we've been working hard on the 59 Pontiac wagon, you know, turning it into a Reggaria car or a Swedish car. Anyway, the other night, actually last night, not even the other night, I picked up probably the best deal I've ever got in my life. And it would be this right here, 2020 Street Bob with 12,000 miles, clear title. I give $3,800 for it. Now, I know that's hard to believe. I know it's very hard to believe. Trust me, I get it. But the crazy thing is when you have cash in hand and you're on Marketplace and you just find deals, you just go get them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I can't find these deals. How do you find these deals? I don't know. I just find them. You know what I'm saying? But paid for, 12,000 miles on it. I'm now the third owner. But there's a couple things we got to change. Now, off the bat, it's already kind of set up right. I mean, it's got a saddle guy seat, which is like the gel knockoff Saddleman seat. Works great. Love it. Super comfy. It's already got some kind of pegs on it. I don't know what those are. Whatever, they could stay. I got to finish putting the fender on it. I only have one bolt in it, but it didn't have a fender on it, but luckily I had one on the shelf. And most of all, it's got a Bassani. I don't know what Bassani pipe is, but it's got a Bassani 2-in-1 on it. Worst thing about this bike, I will say, are these handlebars. They got to go immediately. So I was on Marketplace and I found a set of MX style T-bars. So we're gonna go ahead and get these off and throw these on. The only thing I don't have is this little gauge relocation bracket that I'm gonna need. But they're on Amazon and you can get them for pretty cheap. Now, I think it's like 40 bucks. So, but either way, we're still gonna go ahead and pop these bars off, get these bars on here, and hopefully get this thing set up right. Only downside of this bike is also that it doesn't have a key fob. They lost it. So you got to start it with a pin, and I don't know how to program them, or maybe, I don't know. I know a couple people that work at Harley. They could probably help me out, but yeah, other than that, that sucks. And eventually, I want to get rid of these spoke wheels because spoke wheels aren't in. Oh, also today we're gonna get rid of these reflectors on here because those are gay. So let's get these bars off, get these gauges off, get all this stuff off, get these bars on, and then hopefully it'll look somewhat cooler because this is not it. All right, get a 3/4 and get these busted loose, which they're already pretty loose. I'm probably gonna have to get some bushings, man, because these bushings are super worn out, or even not worn out. They just got too much give to them, especially for T-bars. That's got Loctite on it. We should probably get a ratchet. All right, got all the hand controls off. Well, not off because we still got to pull the wires, but we got like the brake off. We got the clutch off. Got everything off. Bolts out. So we're just gonna set these over here. There we go. Just lay those down real quick. We got to pull the wires out of here, pull the wires out of this harness back here. And what that basically entails is there's this little rubber piece right here that pops out. And then you got all your connectors back here. So we got to connect those and we can take this all off in one piece. And luckily the fella before me that had this bike that put these bars on was so generous to wrap everything in electrical tape for me. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and peel that off, unplug all these. So we can take this off at once, pull the wires out, and then try to run them through the new bars, which is the hardest thing in the world to do. Boom, once you pull all your wires through, you go ahead and take your whole handlebar assembly off and set that down here. And the fun part, and probably while you're watching this, is you gotta get all this wire through the new handlebars. And there's, I don't know how to explain this, but there's no easy way to do it. I know you're probably watching this right now. You're like, hell yeah, man, I'm gonna click on this video. Dude's gonna explain this so easily. No, this is the bane of my existence. This is literally the hardest thing in the world to do. Usually on every bike that we own, we delete every single, just everything off. We do a push button start, one toggle switch, no wiring, no blinkers, no nothing. But that being said, you know what I'm saying? This is a 2020 Street Bob. We got a big ass schmutz in the tank there, no big deal. The only reason why we're doing this is because, you know, it has the amenities, man. It has cruise control. It has all those things that I want to keep, you know. That's the only reason why I got this bike. So I'm going to show you how to pull all the wires through. Now, this can either go really smooth or it can take me all day. There's really no in between. But let's throw these bars on here, mock it up real quick, and kind of like regain some momentum because this sucks. Now we got one bolt in there, but you can see it's infinitely better. Doesn't look so hell yeah brother anymore. Now it's more Sons of Anarchy. you know, which kind of fits the whole me being in a motorcycle club vibe. Whatever. Anyway, just talking shit. Now, the only issues that I'm running into so far is that my brake cable has to be extended. I could probably unloom it and get by for now. You know, just kind of run it just to get a little bit of space to get it up in there. But eventually I'm going to need that. Same with the clutch lever. Going to need one of those because as you can tell, we're pulling it. But if I come, you know, back this way, whatever, we can get it for now. Gonna have to get those in the future, which on these M8s, it's easy, man. It just clips in right here and that's your extension, or you get an extension. I forget how to do it. It's been a while since I've had one of these bikes. And then the brake line, luckily, this isn't an ABS bike. So it just goes from caliper all the way to master cylinder. So that's easy. But right now, we're gonna pull these wires out of these handlebars. And God, man, I'm telling you, this sucks. There is no easy way to do this. Well, there you go, man. After fighting for, probably an hour to get all the wires out, we have everything that we need to get, oh, no, not everything. Just kidding. There's more. We got everything we need to get everything in the new bars. So this is, like I said, the bane of my existence and the hardest thing you could possibly do. Now you can use whatever you want, but this is what I have. The first thing you're gonna do is run a piece of weed eater string through the bars. And then once you get that, you're gonna get all your controls for one side. You're basically just gonna tape them to this and try to pull them through. Now, sometimes this goes really good, sometimes it doesn't. This side is kind of the hardest because if you got an internal throttle or throttle by wire, it sucks, dude. Okay, so that has to go through this end while your controls have to go through this end. So you have to meet them in the middle and pull all those wires through here and out this little hole. And, buddy, I'm telling you, this ain't fun. All right, and now the first one is kind of a given, okay? This is the passenger side or the left side. It's easy. It's the easiest one to get through. Now, you could stop here and basically either do away with your blinkers or relocate them or whatever, or you can get greedy. And by that, I mean you can run your blinkers in the stock location up on the bars. And that's where things get hard because you're cramming a lot of wires through what's already a tight spot. You know, and I've tried to do this before to pull them both looms of wire at the same time. It's really hard, you know. And it kind of all depends on the style bars that you got too. These are kind of especially difficult because they got so many hard bends. But, you know, just kind of a matter of what you want to do. Do you want to relocate the blinkers or do you want them where they're at and fight this all day? I think that's what we're going to do. So I found the best way to do this, and like I said, I've done this 100 times, learned something new every time, is that while you're feeding your blinker through, pull this out and then grab them and push them together as you're pulling on your string. And then just like that, it'll come through. One side is done. Now, the only thing that makes the other side harder is you have to do the same exact thing, but then you also have your huge throttle by wire cable, which was already just a pain getting out. But like I said, this one goes in here, whereas the other two also go in here. So you have to meet together and literally pull all three, or do this first and try to get this last. But this is an extremely thick loom. So that side is usually the one that takes you all day. Now, granted, this is also taking me an hour just to do this, to go from here to here. But that side right there is like a make or break situation. And now that we've got the blinker on this side, that just shows that we have to get the blinker on this side, making it that much more difficult. All right, now I ran into a huge problem and one that I didn't see coming, and I came up with a solution for it. I've had to do this one time in the past, but on these cheaper bars, and like these, I paid $100 for these. It's not too cheap, but I mean, they're just cheap bars. They're not like name brand. They're not like Built Well or even Dominator now. I mean, they're making some nice stuff, but what it was is the holes that they drilled in the actual bars wasn't lining up with the riser tubes. And what that means is like basically it's a smaller hole and it's offset. So to combat that, I just drilled a hole in the top. And I had to open up that hole to get all the wires to go down in there because there was no way I was getting, this giant loom of wire through that little bitty hole that was offset. So now I can just push them down from the top, and then I'll get a plug or a sticker or something, cover that up. That way we don't just have a hole. But I mean, hell, dude, even if it's just, it is what it is. Tiny little hole. Well, it's a 1/2 inch. I used a 1/2 inch drill bit. But now you can see, everything is going to line up perfect. And I'll be able to get the wires down in there now. But, man, that hole was way off. I was wondering, I couldn't even get the weed eater string through it. And I figured out why real quick. All right, fellas, it's a new day. We got the bars on there. Good God, was that a job. It's taken me, literally, this was about an 8-hour job. I even had to open up this hole right here a little bit. Cut a slit to get the plugs through because the plugs weren't coming through. Drill this hole. But all in all, it's not bad. Like I said, these are cheap bars, man. With cheap bars, you're going to have problems like that. The only thing that I'm waiting on now is I got the gauge relocation bracket that goes right here. We'll get that taken care of. I got a fairing that's going to cover up most of this. And then I had to re-loop, the clutch cable up here instead of going through the front of the bars. And then we had to undo this part of the brake line just so, it wasn't stretched all the way. So we got slack in it now. But that's where we're at on it. Now we're going to take these reflectors off real quick. And I'm really just going to pop them off and then try to get that glue off. A lot of people use heat guns and stuff. We'll probably just, we'll probably use a heat gun, actually. And we're going to crank her up on high and just bake it off, man. And really get in there and try to get that adhesive loose. Now you just put your heat gun on low, go in there and kind of heat it up. You get that adhesive really, really good and warm. You don't want to boil it on there. You just take your thumb and just roll it. And then it'll all come off in one big strip. And then, yeah, man, like I said, you take some Goo Gone or some acetone or something and just wipe that down and get the rest of it off. Oh, yeah, there we go. I got the lights on, but it's a night and day difference. Got a little bit of glue left to get on there, but it's little things like that, man, that make a huge difference. Same thing with these dust covers that go over the forks. All these street bobs have them, but I take a razor blade and throw them in the trash. Good morning. So there you go, man. That's how it's done. That's how you get the bars and the reflectors off and make all these little changes. And, man, it just really changes everything up. But now we got to load the bike up and take it to Harley because for some reason when you unplug everything and plug it back in, you can't start it no more. Can't use the pin anymore and start the bike. So that's a blast. And, yeah, cool. But anyway, dude, next week we're going to jump back on the Pontiac wagon here. I'm going to do the air suspension on it. Maybe not next week. I don't know. We're going to do some shit. We got to move the motor back a little bit and get it started up. And, then we're going to start on it. I don't know what else we're going to do. We got a lot of stuff to do on it. And we're going to get it knocked out pretty quick. But that's it. So like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And then, yeah, man, we'll see what else we got going on.